Okay, in this simple tutorial, we're gonna do something that is quickly and easily done in Ecotect, which is to simulate the sun path diagram, which is the motion of the sun around our building. This is a very easy, simple, and useful tool in Ecotect because it helps the architect or the building physicist to understand the motion of the sun around your building and accordingly design different aspects to this part. Now I've gone ahead and modeled this simple building here, which is like a podium and then a tower above. We have the north arrow pointing to the north direction, which you can see here. So this is obviously the south facade and then the east, west, and north. I've also gone ahead and loaded a climatic file for Alexandria. Of course, it's good to know that for some path diagrams, you don't need specific climatic data files. So if you want to do some path diagram for a city that you don't have the climate file for, you simply need to enter the latitude and longitude for the location. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. To bring on the sun path diagram, you click on the sun icon under the shadow settings tools, and the easiest way is just clicking on the daily sun path. Okay, as you can see, when I do that, some sort of compass comes up that starts from north direction and then goes around 360 degrees in increments of 15 degrees. Okay, and what it is showing right here, this arc represents the motion of the sun in the sky, and there is, as you can see, a line or an arrow connecting the sun, which is this dot over here. It connects the center of the sun to the center of your model to show you the sun angle approaching your building. All right. Now, if I also turn on the shadows, though we're not doing a shadow analysis right now, but just so that you understand, if I turn on the shadow, it shows me the shadow of my building at this specific date and time. Now, when I say date and time, it's shown here. This is the sun location at 11:45 on the 1st of April. By default, Ecotect always starts on the 1st of April for some reason. Alright, so if I want to know where the sun is in respect to my building at a specific date and time, let's say today is the 30th of March, so I'll just put that in. Okay, so 30 and then March, so that's today. If I want to know what the angle of the sun at 12 o'clock at noon on 12 noon on the 30th of March in Alexandria, this is what the sun will be like. Okay, so it's clearly, you can clearly see how interesting this becomes. You have a clear idea of how the sun moves around your building at various times. Now you can change the time also by dragging the sun icon over here for different times. And what this is showing as well is the sunlight hours. If you notice here, it's showing when the sun rises from the east, so I can see that the sun at this day in Alexandria comes up at almost 5 a.m. and then moves in the sky and then sets again at almost 5 p.m. Right? And similarly, like we've done before, you can change the angle where you're looking at the sun path diagram. So if I click on the shortcut F5, I will get a top-down view of my building and the sun path diagram. Sometimes when you're dealing with a master plan, it might be easier to look at it from a plan view. Right, so I clicked on F5 and which is the shortcut for a plan view. Or I can just go into view and click on plan. Okay, so it's the same diagram, but it's showing it in a plan view. I can also look at the side elevation if I want, and this is interesting because it's showing you the angle of the sun. You can look at the front as well, and then I can go back and select the perspective view. Okay. Now, usually when we study the sun path, to make it simpler for ourselves, we use the winter and summer solstice. So let me begin with the summer one, which is the 21st of June. Okay. So that's usually it's the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and it's showing you that the sun is extremely vertical in Alexandria during the summer. It comes up at almost 4:30 in the morning and stays in the sky almost till 5:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so that's the sun path in summer, in the summer solstice. From this diagram, I can see that at 11, it's almost vertical. I mean, the building has a very small shadow, right? Okay, now to get the winter um, sun path, I'll switch to the 21st of January, sorry, 21st of December, and we've got the winter sun path. You can see how the sun angle is much lower during winter, and the day is shorter. I mean, the sun comes up at 6 in the morning and sets at almost 3:30 in the afternoon. Much shorter day, and obviously a much longer shadow. Right? Now, whenever the model comes out of perspective and it starts giving me some weird angles, the easiest way is just to click on the fit the view, and it kind of corrects the angles on. Right? Now I can do one more cool trick, which is show the annual sun path. Okay? And it gives me such a diagram. What this is showing, it's showing the path of the sun throughout the year. Right? So it starts here by the shortest winter day, which is the winter solstice, right? And it ends up here by the longest summer day, which is the summer solstice, and it gives you everything in between. This diagram is nice because it shows you the full range of the sun path diagram. And like we've done before, if I click on F5, it can give me the same diagram in a top-down view. So here you can see the range of how the sun moves around the building. All right. Now, the last thing I want to show you is that obviously, if you are doing this study, you might want to export these images to show to your client or your professor or something. So you do that by clicking on the camera icon on the bottom right corner over here. So if I click on it, I can either copy it as a bitmap and then using a software like Photoshop paste it in and save it, or I can just directly save it as a bitmap, GIF, JPG, whatever I want. So let's try a bitmap. Okay, I'll just go to the desktop. Let me save it here under Ecotect videos. Okay, and I can say some background diagram. Right? Now save it. And that allows you to either use the same size as the drawing canvas or specify a different resolution that gives you option over here. Okay. Now I usually do a nice trick, because usually when you do a winter and a summer sun path, you usually want to compare them. So it's a good idea to save a view. If you are familiar with SketchUp, you know how you can save camera views. Well, it's almost the same thing in Ecotect. You have the default view here. If you right click and say create new camera, and I will call it sun path. Okay. Now this view now is saved. So if I go to default and do whatever I do and click on it, it'll take me back to the view. Right? So this is a good idea to save the view, so that if I save the summer sun path that I'm seeing now, I can also quickly save the file and call it summer sun path, and then I can change the date to winter, for September, and then call it obviously winter sun path. Right? And this way, then in my report I can put them next to each other and compare them. Right, so that's a simple tutorial on doing the sun path diagrams.